How can you ever meet God if you're always on your way to meet God? If you know me, you know I don't mean that God, the one with the robe and all that. I mean a real God, the one we really want, the one in our bones and our blood, a living God. You know those debates you have about fundamental things with your friends or online, and the other person ends up seeing your point and changes their mind because of something you said? Oh, you don't? That's because it never happens. Our assumptions are our conclusions. And the most important the subject, the more this is true. If you think a tomato is a vegetable, and I say, well, technically it has seeds, so it's a fruit, you'd probably accept that and get on with your life. Maybe you've learned a little fact. But if I try to change your mind about something fundamental, that's a different story. Here's the thing. We have ideas about our self-worth. We have ideas about God and life and meaning. And we can, in a sense, have arguments with ourselves to try to improve ourselves, maybe, or find meaning. Or we may say, well, I'd like to believe in some kind of God, but I see no evidence. No one has convinced me. Or maybe we're trying to improve ourselves and we always feel that we can't. We're in the same place. This is mostly because we're, in a sense, arguing with ourselves, and we're not changing our fundamental assumptions. We're not even quite aware of them. We are actually aware of them, but we sort of let them slip by. We don't hold them and look at them. What do I mean by this? If you feel that you are defective and you need to improve before you can be worthy, before you can stand tall in front of people, before you can feel good about yourself, you're starting with the premise of being defective. And so you've put yourself on a treadmill. It's the defective treadmill. And it doesn't matter what we do at that point, because we've already accepted a premise of I am defective. So we may accrue all sorts of successes in life, even awards and fame. But if we've not addressed our underlying assumption, none of these things will ultimately matter. There are countless examples of this, of course, of people we think of as famous and successful who are constantly insecure and never satisfied. And Your feeling of being defective and needing to improve is big business. There are 9,832,765 videos on YouTube, give or take, that are feeding off your assumption that you're defective and in need of improvement. The most radical thing you can do is to assume you're perfect. Now, for a lot of people, that's going to trigger a tsunami of voices saying that's arrogant, you'll never get anything done, that's ridiculous. But what happens if you can persevere with that? If you can water that seed. Remember the parable that Jesus told? The kingdom of heaven is like a seed that's planted, and some of it lands in dry soil and never sprouts. Some of it comes up but gets choked by weeds. But some comes up and thrives and grows. So you could say this idea, stay with me, that you're perfect now is like a little seed. It looks like nothing. It may even seem ridiculous. So in that sense, it's tiny, insignificant. It could get blown away in the breeze the minute you stop listening to this. If you were to water it, you would find some amazing things. One of the voices says, well, why would you do anything if you're perfect? Why wouldn't you just lie in bed and be perfect? Well, you see, that's not perfect. No one wants to lie in bed. So that's not really perfect. Activities will still happen. This is the beautiful thing. Activities will still happen, but they'll tend to happen more organically. They will, in a sense, just happen. You'll do things. But the key difference is the doing of things, the activities, are not coming from a sense of desperation. I need to do this because I'm imperfect and defective and I have to show the world or show myself or earn my right. They'll come from joy. They'll come from love. They'll come from enthusiasm. They'll come from a desire to explore and to celebrate. Imagine that. Imagine your activities are celebrations. This is what Jesus meant by a house built on a solid foundation versus a house built on a weak foundation. The house built on a weak foundation falls over. And that weak foundation is the underlying assumption, or we could say vibration, or perhaps intention that is under our actions. If that is one of desperation, the idea that I am defective and need to prove myself, then we're unstable. But if the underlying foundation or assumption is, I am perfect, we naturally are strong and resilient. And guess what? Far from being arrogant, we find that one of, if not the most joyful thing we can do is to help and love other people. Right? If we're truly perfect, not just saying it in an arrogant way, then we'd want nothing but the same for other people. So remember, stay in school, do your laundry, eat your sardines, climb your walls, investigate numinous phenomena, write a short story, sing a song, and above all, be voluminous.